Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We back. We back. We back. Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker here, former Division I college football player and current five-time published author and educator here for another Wintrapreneur Wednesday. You heard me right. I said Wintrapreneur, meaning we're teaching the entrepreneur mindset, but we're adding the W to it to make you all win entrepreneurs. We want you winning in your field, whatever it is you're doing from an entrepreneurial standpoint, whether you're solopreneur, entrepreneur, or full-blown entrepreneur. We want you winning. That is why you're here. You're here every single Wednesday to pick up some tips on how to win. This is only the second episode of this, and expect these to come out every single Wednesday. As far as the tip that I'll be giving you guys today, I'll be sharing, just so you, again, if this is your first time, tuning in, how these work is I will be sharing a little bit about from my story, from my background as a college football player, or from the countless jobs I've had. All right, I'll be giving you a tip and sharing a way towards how you can be an entrepreneur in a big organization, how you can create opportunities for yourself to proceed within a huge organization. And normally with these videos, see me every morning doing my runs, and I usually record them right after a run, but I figured, hey, it's time, now that I've been doing it for a long time, it's time for me to start recording more stuff in which it's more one-on-one, me, you talking, and it be more of an intimate setting as opposed to me all sweaty and all fired up and stuff like that. So I'm just meeting you guys where you may be and showing you that I have that flexibility as a speaker. I've spoken on stage, I can be sit down speaking, I can speak right after a run. Again, you're speaking to a very seasoned speaker. All right. As far as today, I'm going to take you back to my football plan. Before I start, let me just let you know now. Make sure you go grab the NIL bundle. The NIL bundle, it is available on makeyourmove.com. The NIL bundle includes these three books. First one, The Six-Figure Athlete, Converting Your Skills to Cash. I partnered with some other authors on this one, and it's fantastic. Right? It's a fantastic read for any current or former athletes. If you know of an athlete that needs to figure out how they're going to start to transition into what's the next phase in their career, what they're going to be doing, these people, my fellow co-authors, and several of them I've also had on my podcast too, they drop some incredible gems in terms of how you're able to do that and how you're able to utilize or use what you've been so passionate about as an athlete and how to take that into your next phase of life. So, Six-Figure Athlete. Also, you'll get my second book, Make Your Move, a unique look into boxing, dance, and entrepreneurship. My guy Taj Deshaun on the forward. All right, this was actually written when I was a boxing trainer at a gym named Nine Round, and I not only did I speak to professional boxers, but I also spoke to professional dancers. And I make the bold claim in this book that dance and boxing will be the greatest thing that you can do to get you better for whatever sport is your main sport. All right, not to say that you can't do other stuff, but between boxing and dance, the flexibility that you're going to be developing, the way you're going to be able to protect yourself in your personal life, all that stuff I dive deeper into. I start to get a little bit into my biography, but not too much into it. It's more about just telling you which skills you need to be using, especially if you can't afford some of these high-priced trainers, or if you're not in a situation where you can, have access to a trainer or anything like that. This book is the book for you as a younger athlete that's coming up, trying to maximize and become a better player. All right. Now, as far as my latest book, Transferring D1, a practical guide on how to navigate the chaotic world of college athletics. All right. And yes, emphasis on the chaotic. We are talking about how to navigate the transfer portal. We're talking about how to navigate NIL and all the mess that college football is creating in college athletics in general. I dive deeper into that. I personally, my personal story, I transferred from a Division II school to a Division I program, and I'm going to dive into a little bit about the stories about my experience there today. But this is also included in the bundle, the NIL bundle. So recap: Transferring D1, Make Your Move, and the Six-Figure Athlete. You get all of these on makeyourmove.com. All right. Now, as far as today's tip, it's interesting because I look at this guy, and this guy, in terms of being a wintrapreneur, that young man taught me everything about being a wintrapreneur. Right? Because growing up, I obviously have a very unique name, and it was difficult for me to establish friends outside the football field. Where football is where I got my acceptance. Football is where I learned teamwork. Football is where I learned all the major lessons that I still apply to this very day, right? So because I played for a high school, not only a high school, but a youth program, between my youth program and my high school football program, they've become nationally known organizations. If you were to Google the White Oak Warriors or the Good Counsel Falcons, you'll see multiple championships. You'll see multiple guys playing in the NFL or playing major Division I football. And that was the program I was a part of. It obviously was before we became such a national organization, which is what made me see things from the coaches who were building it from a grassroots level, right? So when it came time for me to play college football, or to go on to the next level after high school, I was looking at myself as a failure if I didn't play D1. All right. I looked at myself as if I was a failure if I did not play Division I football. That was my only motivation to go to school. I didn't really care about much of anything else. Obviously, you want to be educated, but in my mind, I needed to be at a Division I program, or I would not have let this shit go. I'd be, with 40-year-old guy. Well, I'm 35 now, but I would still be trying to play Division I football if it didn't happen for me at the age of 20, 21, 22, right? So happened was I right after high school, I went to a Division II program and I tore my ACL, and I was really close to giving it up. But I knew that Stony Brook University, right here where I got my bachelor's degree, I knew that I wanted to play there because I was in conversations with them throughout my high school, like towards the late end of my high school senior year. And I wanted to play there because I thought that they were the best fit for me. They were a small Division I program, didn't have a lot of press, but it was an opportunity. Again, they were still full scholarship. It was still an opportunity for me to fulfill this goal that I had to play Division I football, right? So long story short, and I detail it a little more in the book, so make sure you go get it. But long story short, is I got there. I was on the team. I got my piece of paper, got the degree and all that kind of stuff. And as far as how that applies to you and your business, understand, I spent 2 seasons on the Stony Brook football team. All right. The first year, I was not eligible to play in any games. All right. This was years before the transfer portal. And when you transferred, regardless of the levels, Division I, two, D3, whatever it was, when you transferred, you were forced to sit out a year. You couldn't just jump ship and decide, okay, I'm going to play here because this one's paying me enough or paying me more, whatever it is. When you transferred, you have to sit out a year. All right. So I didn't even realize I was going to have to sit out a year until I actually got accepted. I got my release papers. Like, I had cut ties completely with the Division II program that I was in. And I didn't even find out that it was going to be a rule for me to sit out a year when I got there, until I actually got there. So that was that was kind of a curveball in itself. However, when I got there, I remember my linebackers coach, his name was Coach Joe Triccario. We had he sat me down before we had two-a-days. We had two-a-days the next day. We started camp the next day. He sat me down before we had two-a-days. And he told me, look, you're not eligible for any games. He just wanted to have a dialogue with me and letting me know, hey, I'm not going to be putting you out there in reps. You're not going to really get a chance, obviously, with the other guys that we got to get ready for the game. But here's what he told me, and this is where I want to take you as a business owner and, people that are looking to win or that are trying to find their way in an organization, all right? He said, I need you to be the first one out there to be for a look team. That's what we called it, a look team. Look team is another way of saying basically a scout team. Now, because again, I couldn't compete in any games or anything like that, that needed to be my role. I was happy, obviously, to be at a Division I program. I was happy at where I was at. I was happy that I achieved that specific goal. However, once I got to that goal, I needed to know my role. My role was to get the starters ready for the actual game. All right. And that year, we actually ended up winning the Big South Championship. I got a ring just like everyone else. I was part of the team just like everyone else. There was no like, okay, we get a ring, we win the Big South, and all of a sudden, all right, everybody but Aswand, or what they used to call me, Crunk back then, everybody but Crunk gets a ring. No, we all got a ring. We all get to share that championship. And this is what I mean when I say creating a culture, creating a unit, creating something in your business to where you get the low-level employees, the people that have absolutely, that may feel like they have absolutely no role whatsoever. You make sure that they are just as passionate as the folks that get all the attention. All right. These are the things that you need to figure out ways to incorporating that in your business, because what starts to happen is if everybody doesn't feel like they're part of the team, if everybody doesn't feel like they're part of the solution or part of the overall mission and the vision of the company, they just get stagnant, they get bored, they move on, they go start thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. And that's when a lot of major decisions and major life decisions are ruined for a lot of people. Again, I can talk for hours upon hours. In fact, the reason that I break this topic down in a weekly format is because many times I can get started on these types of things that I can go for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So as far as today's tip is in terms of how to create a wintrapreneur culture is make sure you go to someone, even if whether you're the business owner listening to me or you're the person who is you're the person who kind of feels like they're not a member of the team, they're not part of the overall mission of the team, make sure you're taking your role seriously. Or again, if you're the business owner, make sure you have everyone that's showing up to work today, everyone that's showing up to work at your organization, make sure you have successfully, just like Coach Trick did with me, make sure you have successfully communicated what their role needs to be and what their expectation, what you are expecting of them. So as they go out and they fulfill those expectations, now they start, looking for more responsibilities. They start finding their role. They start doing things. They start taking initiative. They start seeing things. And when you start seeing things, that's when the innovation happens. That's when you start creating products that nobody else has. That's when you start, uplifting, getting yourself a little better than your competitor. Those little teeny things that make you better than whoever your competitor is. All right. So that's all I got. Again, tune in next week. We do this every single Wednesday, calling it Wintrapreneur. And again, you can go look up the stats. There's no other speaker out there, no other thought leader, no other author, no other person who's does the work I do who's talking about being a wintrapreneur. I've coined the phrase. I'm taking it. It's mine. All right. We went out there. I look forward to hearing about it. And I'll go, yeah. So main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, it's makeityourmove.com. That's where you can book me to host a workshop for your business. And that's where you can get the NIL bundle that comes with these 3 books. So it's makeyourmove.com. That's makeyaMove.com. Everyone out there, fellow teammates, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.